Hello and welcome back. In the last video, we added our .env file and we created this config class, okay? And if we want to use any of these environment variables, all we just need to do is import this config and then get the environment variable we need. Now let us go ahead and set up this server file right here, okay? So let me close this. So first I'm going to import Express async errors, okay? So the reason why we are using this is so that any error we get with our probably asynchronous functions, we are going to pass it to our error handler, okay? So that is it for this particular. I'll just add this express async errors, and what I want to do here, I'll create server underscore ports. Now this service will run on port 4001, okay? So the API gateway will run on port 4000, the notification port 4001, just like that. So you can use whatever port number you want, okay? Now let us set up our logger. I will show you how we can use our logger. Let me open the helpers function. We already installed the helpers, okay? So go to the helpers function, go to logger. The function that we need is this Winston logger, and we need to pass our Elasticsearch node URL, the name, and then the level, okay? So this is what we need. Let's go ahead. I'll create the logger, const log of type logger. Now you can see the logger interface from Winston. This is going to be equal to Winston logger, and now you can see we have the logger defined right here. You can see it. We already installed the library, and now let us pass what we need. So first we get config. So don't get config from .env or get config from Winston. We want to get config from our own file. I can change this to @notifications, okay? So config.elasticsearch URL, okay? And then we need the name of the service. So this is going to be notification server. And then what type? We want to use the debug level, okay? So we call Winston logger, pass Elasticsearch URL, notification server as the name, and then the log level is debug, okay? So for this, I'll create some functions. So export, you can use the regular function or you can use arrow functions, whichever one you want. So maybe let's do export function. For now, I will just use the regular function. This will take app of tag application. So import this from Express. Now this function will return void. This is the function that we are going to call inside our app.ts file, okay? But now let's create some other functions. We need a function that we are going to add our queues to. So it's going to be async function, and this is going to be called start queues. Now remember, since this is asynchronous, it's going to be, the return type is going to be a promise return type, but it's not going to return anything. So it's going to be promise void, okay? So I'll leave this as empty for now. And then the next function, async as well, or maybe I can just create a regular function. I'll call this start Elasticsearch, okay? Return void, okay? And then the last function we want to add here is going to be our start server. So start server function, okay? Now this is going to take app of type application. So this is Express app instance. This is going to return void. Here we are going to use try catch, okay? So if there's an error, now remember that with our logger, that is Winston, we are using a transport, which is the Winston Elasticsearch, okay? Now, in order for us to send log messages to Elasticsearch, we are going to use log.log. Okay, so with this is going to send the log messages to Elasticsearch. Okay, now this log.log is coming from Winston. It takes a level, it takes a message, and you can add a callback if you want, but in our case we are going to. So the type is going to be error. Then the message, what is the message that we want to send? We'll say notification service start server method. Okay, and then the last part is we are going to pass the complete error object. Okay, so just add this here. We call log.log, or you can use log.error or log.info, but for this we are going to call log.log. So we pass in the log level, and then we pass in the message, and then we pass in the object. Okay, then here we are going to create HTTP server of type http.server. http.server. So we import, let's import HTTP from HTTP. Okay, and then here, so it's going to be http.server equal to new http.server. Now you might be wondering, okay, why am I not just importing directly server? There are cases whereby you might be using another service or another library that has this server as an export, so it might be a conflict. Okay, so it's just better http.server. So this is creating an instance of the HTTP server, and then here we can log, so log.info. Okay, so I'll say worker with process ID off, so process.pid. So each process will have an ID. Okay, on notification server has started. Okay, and then you can add another, you can say notification server has started with process. Okay, I think we don't need this. We don't need this because I think they are same information. Now what we need to do is http server.listen. We pass our server ports, and we add a callback. Okay, log.info, and then we say notification server running on ports, then server underscore ports. Okay, then we just need to call this function right here. We call it inside our start. Okay, so call this function here, and then pass app. We call start queues. Okay, and then we call this Elasticsearch right here as well. Okay, let's auto fix issues. Okay, I think okay, so we just have empty functions right here. Now there's something also you need to note. Maybe later, once we start viewing the logs in the Kibana dashboard, you might decide you only want to display error information. There is no need displaying all of these infos. You might maybe add a property and then go to your library to change the property, so you only display error info or error information, not normal log info or log warnings. Okay, but that is something we can think about later. But for now, we have these server functions.